Pro Wrestling Weekly. For over 20 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment radio talk.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
You really do sound like a
grizzled old vet. Is that where you were going with there?
Yes.
To not get you in trouble?
Oh, I'll get in trouble at some point. Believe me, I'll do something.
Well, to keep you out of trouble in this case, at least.
And now, here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Ooh, I'm getting good at this radio thing.
Yeah! It only took you 5.5 years.
I'm not good at it yet. I'm starting.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
Slowest escalator upward.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you live on location at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo. We are here at Council Rock High School South over at 2002 Rock Way in Holland. Make your way on over here. The event's going on until 2. We're going to be here until 1 doing our thing alongside Mitch, who is joining me. Twitch is, well, he is under the weather, so he didn't want to bring his germs here with all the kids, and rather thoughtful of him. So good for him to do that, and we'll catch up with him and talk about his Wrestlemania experience sometime next week, more than likely. But yes, Wrestlemania, we have a lot to get into with that, but first let's talk a little bit about the Children's Expo that's going on here. So many different things going on. We've got a moon bounce, we've got a giant slide, and as far as some various educational and entertainment type things, we're moments away from the yo-yo play day that's going on, some fitness and exercise activities to keep the kids active. We just finished up the traveling science show of hot and cold, courtesy of the Franklin Institute. And outside, we've got, well, it's kind of hard to miss them. We've got the Ivyland Fire Company that's here, as well as the Newtown Ambulance Squad, the Northampton Township Police Department. There's also the Pennsylvania State Police helicopter that's going to be making a landing, plus the Septic Canine unit is here. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, plus a litany of different exhibitors that are providing various bits of information and little edutainment and things of that nature, everything from Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Bucks County. The Bucks County Sheriff's Department is here. The Bucks County Free Library. The Friends of Churchville Nature Center. The Girl Scouts of Eastern Pennsylvania. Just to name a few. I'm looking through here. The Neshaminy Kids Club is here. Also the YWCA. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. Give you a little info about that here. As well as the Pennsylvania Treasury Department and PA 529 Savings Program. Never too early to start saving up for college for the kids, even if they're just barely entering, kindergarten or anything of that nature. It's never too early to start. Also, St. Mary Medical Center is here, just to name a few. It is a great time here at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo, and I'm glad to have been here for, golly, it's the 10th year that I've done this here, and it's an absolute blast. Just looking over, shrugging at me here. Well, of course, you wouldn't know. You probably would have attended here when you were a kid at this point 10 years ago when I was doing this. You basically still are a kid. Who are we kidding? But, yes, as everything is going on here, we've got a lot to get into. WrestleMania was this past Sunday. I had the pleasure of being among the 82,200 and change who were in attendance, and it was, to say the least, an absolute blast, but man, was it long. 7.5 hours. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. But that being said, it was a very, very entertaining night overall, with a lot of positives and a couple of hiccups as well. To give you an idea, one of those being my picks certain to go wrong, and they most certainly did, at least half the time there, as I went 8-8 on the night. Twitch actually outpicked me by 3, so he's got the overall lead for the year. And Mitch, respectable 7-9. It did all right for yourself, but not too bad. Going over the card here, we'll go ahead and do that here for the moment. So Tony Nese, he had beat Buddy Murphy to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Carmella won the Women's Battle Royal. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, they're your new Raw Tag Team Champions after beating the Revival. Braun Strowman, as pretty well expected, at least by me, won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then to the main card, as those 4 matches were in the first 2 hours, and then we had 5.5 to go with the other 12 matches on the main card. Seth Rollins kicked things off by beating Brock Lesnar to win the Universal Championship. Also, AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton in a match that a good percentage of people in attendance didn't see, and we'll get more into that coming up a little bit later. Also, the Usos, they successfully defended the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Shane McMahon just barely beat The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match thanks to a superplex off of a scaffold. Yes, off of a scaffold. And just so happened that McMahon happened to be, as both of them lay crumpling in a heap, McMahon was right on top of The Miz and was able to register the 3 count. The Iconics are your new Women's Tag Team Champions after winning and beating the Boston Hug Connection in that fatal 4-way. In what has to be, without question, the moment of the night where I had never heard as loud an ovation as I did when that mat slammed to 3, as Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan to win the WWE Championship. And the overall joy and elation, and I know I may lose a couple of, street cred points for saying this, but I was a blubbering mess. What are you laughing at me for? Don't even, Mitch. Laughing at me about it. No, it was a very emotional moment. There are very few of those in professional wrestling, and given the circumstance that is behind it in terms, we'll save the whole what's behind it for another week, as we want to keep things more on the positive end. We don't want to get too in depth or too. This is a kids expo. We don't need to get into too many of the super serious topics for too long of a time here. But, yeah, needless to say, for a certain population in the country of a certain pigmentation, it was a very milestone moment. And we'll stop right there. We'll draw the line right there. Exactly. Moving on, Samoa Joe defeated Rey Mysterio to retain the United States Championship. Roman Reigns, who got a little more than a smattering of boos, which actually had me rather perturbed, as apparently there are some people who can boo leukemia, or at least the person who got rid of it. Yeah, people can be not so nice sometimes. What can I say? Also, Triple H in a very vehicular entrance between he and Batista, Batista first with the multiple SUV escort or entourage, whatever you want to call it, making his way to the ring and having a little bit of a balance issue stepping through the ropes as he actually tripped a little bit. It happens. A little bit of ring rust. But then Triple H coming out in some sort of almost a vehicle that looked like it was from Mad Max. Yeah, it's definitely an entrance you'll want to check out if you haven't, Mitch. Yeah, it was very interesting, very, dare I say, midlife crisis of him. No. But no, Triple H beat Batista in the no-holds-barred match, and later that night, Batista went on to announce, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, he announced his retirement from sports entertainment. So he can focus on the movies and the acting and things of that nature. Plus, he just turned 50 a couple of months ago. So, yeah, it's a good time to move things along. Now, Kurt Angle's farewell match didn't quite go as planned, as Baron Corbin ended up defeating Kurt Angle in what many people would peg an upset. Finn Balor went to upend Bobby Lashley to win the Intercontinental Championship, and then deep into the night, as the opening bell sounded right at midnight, the main event, the triple threat women's match, winner-take-all, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. And, well, the man was the man in this case, as Becky Lynch did win by pinning Ronda Rousey in somewhat controversial fashion to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Man, I'm tired just going over all of that. Imagine sitting there live in attendance or watching it on pay-per-view or on the WWE Network. But that being said, there were a lot of great things that came out of the event. And among them, WWE announced that WrestleMania 35 broke the record for MetLife Stadium's highest-grossing entertainment event. Yeah, it grossed $16.9 million. Put the pinky up to the corner of the mouth like Dr. Evil. Yes, passing the venue's previous record of $12.3 million that was set 6 years ago at WrestleMania 29. WrestleMania knows how to make some money. Plus, they had the record crowd for that venue of 82,265 people, of which I was among them, myself and the self-professed Fugazi wrestling fan. Yeah, you know Mike there. It was the second highest grossing event in WWE history, only behind WrestleMania 32 from 3 years ago at AT&T Stadium in Texas. But that's because that stadium that seated over 100,000 people. So it was just an even larger venue, and it's the highest attended WWE event in history was WrestleMania 32. That being said, not everything was sunshine and rainbows. Although one would argue that one of the issues felt as bright as the sun. I alluded to it earlier. During the Randy Orton-AJ Styles match, the red and gold lights that were all throughout the stadium, they were positioned at an angle that obstructed the view of a majority of the fans who were facing the entranceway. So fans during the match, there were chants such as, turn the lights off, clap, 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 or turn the lights off, we can't see, turn the lights off, we can't see. Or at one point, they even got into a singing type chant of, oh, please turn the lights off, oh, please turn the lights off, which it went for probably about 90 to 95% of the match. And eventually the obstructing lights were turned off to a huge ovation from the crowd, but I guess WWE production people, to make sure that indeed was the problem, the lights were briefly turned back on to a chorus of boos and aggravated groans, followed by an even louder ovation when the lights were turned off again, that time for good. Now, Randy Orton, who was in the match, took to Instagram to apologize to fans who were, to quote the Manfred Mann song, blinded by the light. Yeah, see what I did there? Saying, quote, I would like to apologize on behalf of WWE for screwing up and shining a bright light in your eyes for 95% of our match. You missed a really great bleeping match. Well, you can fill in the rest. It's radio. Yeah, you get it from there. So, in addition to that, as if that wasn't enough, but between that and the biggest gripe being the length of the event, there was also the aftermath of the event. As following WrestleMania 35 at roughly 12:30 at night, thousands of fans were left waiting for hours in the rain for public transportation. Yeah, according to New York's WPIX, they reported that New Jersey trains and buses were scheduled to run every 10 minutes, but their system became overwhelmed. And on top of it, they actually blamed WWE for the transit delays. Yeah, NJ Transit issued a statement saying, quote, the primary factor contributing to the post-event delays was the WWE's decision to extend the event to 12:30 a.m., which had significant operational impacts on the evening. NJ Transit was not informed of this decision until late last night. That was their stance. So it's like, no, it's because you guys held the event later. But yeah, apparently NJ Transit had prepared to run 6 trains following the event up until about 1 a.m., but could not operate some trains after that because of federal requirements limiting train crew hours, according to the statement. So they're going with, well, according to federal law, we can only have but so many trains running after X o'clock. I don't know. It's very much a they said kind of scenario as far as who's to blame. But, yeah, the event, which was dry as a bone pretty much for the entire, there was maybe like a drop or two during the main event, but somewhere around 1:30 in the morning, the sky just opened up and just downpoured rain on thousands of attendants who were rather tired and rather cranky after the lengthy event. And, well, in response, it looks like here more than 12,000 people were eventually accommodated, according to NJ Transit. Now, WWE, they issued, a counter statement in a sense, saying that it regretted any inconvenience that fans may have experienced with mass transportation after the event, adding, quote, "Just like other sports and entertainment events, we don't advertise an end time." Which that makes sense. I mean, if you have a basketball game, like, maybe the Sixers playoff game tonight that goes into, like, triple overtime, there's only, you have to be able to accommodate for that. Or if, let's say, Billy Joel's in concert and decides to throw an encore out there, there's not much you can do about it. So those are a couple of scenarios where there isn't really a set end time to when things are supposed to finish. I mean, it's that way with sporting events because you never know when in baseball it's going to go to extra innings, when in football, basketball, hockey, when it's going to go into overtime or multiple overtimes, anything of that nature. So, things not quite working out so well with the transit scenario there, but I think what had what kind of shined a bit of a negative light on that particular transit was that there was a similar issue 5 years ago after the 2014 Super Bowl where there were significant delays. So this isn't their first rodeo with it, but it looks like there's still a lot to do, and the New Jersey governor even issued a statement saying that he was, pretty much extremely disappointed, and I don't have the exact quote, but it was not very kindly, and that it was basically, we're going to figure this out so this will not happen again. Now, they also said that back in 2014, for what that's worth. Take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. One thing that you don't necessarily have to take with a grain of salt, you can take with overflowing joy and excitement and everything of that nature, is all of the fun events and excitement here at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo here at Council Rock High School South, here at 2002 Rockaway in Holland, here in Pennsylvania, for those perhaps crossing over from Jersey. So we're here until 1 o'clock. The event is going on until 2. The SEPTA Canine unit, they're going to be here around 1:30, so that's a good reason to stick around. That'll be going on outside. It's a great day. The temperature's in the low 70s, and there's stuff going on inside and outside. So it's a whole lot going on here. The the music that you've heard in the background is all part of the Yo-Yo Play Day that's part of the fitness and exercise activities that are going on. So it's keeping the kids moving, keeping the kids active. It's certainly a good thing here. And, we had a kid who just took a tumble here in front of us. Things happen. The kids get excited, they run, they trip. That's why that's why they say not to run. But sometimes, the kids can't help themselves. Also here, outside, I passed it on the way in here. We've got the Ivyland Fire Company. Station 62 is here. The Newtown Ambulance Squad is here. The Northampton Township Police Department's here. And here inside, there are a litany of different tables. We've got the Bucks County Sheriff's Office getting kids' fingerprints over here to our right. We've got a litany of tables all across the way here. I see Independence Blue Cross, the Johnsville Centrifuge and Science Museum. There's a little display for that here. There's quite a few different things, some in and a lot out of earshot, and eye shot for that matter. But, earshot for you, eye shot for me in this case. Because, I can see it because we're here. Makes a lot of sense. But, yes, a lot of fun things to enjoy and a lot of tidbits of information to pick up on as well. I see Pennsbury Manors here. The Pendle Mental Health Center. Also, just for making sure the kids don't do anything silly or otherwise, the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, the Bureau of Alcohol Education, making sure that 21 means 21. Sorry, Mitch, we'll get you going sometime in 2023, somewhere thereabouts. Yeah, around there. Okay. Also, the Office of Attorney General is here for the Bureau of Consumer Protection. Silver Lake Nature Center is here. The Friends of Washington Crossing Park. So there's a lot of fun events, not just for the kids, but for the grown-ups as well. And it's definitely a great event to come on out to here. So I believe we're going to take care of our first bit of business. We're going to throw things back to the station. Ted Efaw, the master of the country roads. He's leading us down these roads here as we are here in Holland, PA for the Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo. We're going to go ahead and take care of our first bit of business. We're going to come back. We've got more news and notes, more WrestleMania fallout, and what's going to head into the Superstar Shakeup coming up this week. People will be going from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, who's going where. We'll do a little bit of pontification, but we'll go more into it next week. But for now, lots of WrestleMania fallout to talk about here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello, inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
Are you a parrot head?
Away again in Margarita.
Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Here's another What's It Worth Antique Minute. Brown is down is a phrase being repeated quite frequently in the auction and home downsizing world. But what exactly does it mean? Brown is down is a phrase many auctioneers use when discussing brown furniture. Whether cherry, mahogany, walnut, or oak, whether Empire, Victorian, Depression, or Pennsylvania House, the price on most brown furniture is down today and not bringing nearly what it did 5, 10, 20 years ago. Why? The younger generation simply doesn't like it the way their parents and grandparents did. And as more seniors are liquidating their brown furniture, there are fewer buyers for it. And as a result, prices have been plummeting with no end in sight. What's it worth? For example, a cherry Pennsylvania House dining room set with table, 8 chairs, hutch, and buffet in perfect condition recently sold for $325 at a very reputable local auction house. After the auction commission and delivery fee, the family netted around $200. Auctioneer, appraiser, and home downsizing expert Mike Ivankovich hosts What's It Worth? Ask Mike the Appraiser radio show. And you can tune in on Friday mornings on WBCB 1490 or on the internet at WBCB1490.com. All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
You need a plan as you get closer to retirement, a plan that will take you from where you are now to the retirement you've always dreamed about. The first step on that path is to tune in What's Your Wealth Strategy Show with Mark Freed every Saturday morning at 8:30. Mark's the president of TFG Wealth Management. He only retire once, but Mark helps people retire every day. Don't miss the What's Your Wealth Strategy Show with Mark Freed every Saturday morning at 8:30 on 1490 WBCB.
What script? We got rid of it, remember?
Yeah, oh yeah, you crumbled it up. Wait, no, it's in the waste bucket. I don't know why I just called it a waste bucket. I've been watching too much British television. And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro. No, sorry, that's the rubbish bin. It's in the
where most of your jokes go.
Yes.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. And here today we are at Council Rock High School South at 2002 Rock Way here in Holland, Pennsylvania. We're here for Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo. We are here up until 1 o'clock. The expo itself is going on until 2. And it is definitely a blast here and then some, to say the least. A lot of different things going on, and you can hear the kids getting all excited with the exercise and everything that they're doing. And it is definitely some good times here, to say the least. And kids are kind of meandering around. They're kind of checking everything out here. And a couple of them are passing by the table here. They see the replica title belts on display, as well as the Slammy Award. All the great stuff with that here. Now, Mitch, you've had a little bit of a chance to check this out, right? What do you think of everything going on so far?
Well, so far, I think everything's looking hunky-dory and fine and dandy, and it looks a lot of fun.
Yeah, it certainly is a blast. So I was going to say, are you waiting for the next commercial break to go and enjoy some of the moon bounce?
Well, yeah, I think the kids would like that.
The grimace that he gave me was worth the price of admission, to say the least here. Just having a little fun, just a little Mahoney busting. Yeah, it's all fun and games. Nobody's losing an eye. We're good.
Yeah.
But it is a blast here, and there's a lot that has come out of the WrestleMania week and everything that's gone on. A lot of different events that have gone on along the way here, and there was one event that preceded WrestleMania that had a little bit of a negative aspect to it here in the Hall of Fame ceremony, which, I mean, everything should have been great and whatnot, and it certainly was, with one little exception. During the induction of the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Bret Hart was giving his part of the speech after his niece, daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Natalia, had accepted and given a speech on behalf of her father, the Anvil. Bret was in the midst of his speech and was attacked by a fan, and I use that in air quotes and as loosely as possible, as the fan had gotten past security, slipped into the ring, as this was the first time where they experimented with, and something tells me it's going to be the last time that they go with this format, of instead of a stage that they've done with many venues in the past, they decided to have the event in the Barclays Center, where they did Monday Night Raw and SmackDown as well. So they had the entranceway, and they had most of security kind of blocking off a few rows back, and all of the wrestlers and dignitaries of that sort were in the first couple of rows. Well, a fan was somehow able to slip past the guardrail, get past a few rows of wrestlers, slide into the ring, and attempted to waist tackle Bret Hart. Yeah, the 61-year-old Bret Hart who, has survived a stroke and cancer and some other things of that nature. But it didn't last long. He was then attacked or tackled by Natalia, as well as countless wrestlers and security, who all went into the ring. And fan footage showed that one half of the Revival, Dash Wilder, he laid a nice right hook into the fan. I have some other unsavory words to use in, but we're here at a kids expo, so we're not going there. But yeah, Hart and Natalia regained their composure quickly and finished their speech. Live on the WWE Network when it had happened, the feed was actually cut for a moment, and then after the fact for any of the replays, they just kind of spliced and edited, and the only way that you can tell that something had happened at all is you see them cut to the crowd, and when it cuts back, some of Bret's hair is out of place. And that's how you know where things occurred in terms of the review and replay here. I don't know. These are the things I look up to. Now, we'd also talked about with the no-holds-barred match between Triple H and Batista. Dave Batista actually announced his retirement from pro wrestling early Monday morning following WrestleMania 35. He tweeted, "WWE Universe, thank you for letting me entertain you. I love this business, and whether you cheered or jeered me, I'm grateful for being a small part of your life. I'm officially retired from sports entertainment, and I'm grateful for every second of my amazing journey." So, very well said. to say the least here. So, there's so much going on here at the Children's Expo here at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo here at Council Rock High School South. And I'm being told we're going to go ahead and take our second and final time out here as we'll take care of a couple of things here and check out a little bit more. And we'll be back here in just a matter of moments here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
I'm Harvey from Bernie Robbins Jewelers. April showers bring 40% off engagement diamonds and 50% off mountings. What, you thought May flowers? No, bridal showers. It's the annual Bernie Robbins Bridal Sale, April 5th and 6th at all 4 Bernie Robbins locations, featuring millions of dollars of GIA-graded diamonds. All this and interest-free financing. Get details at BernieRobbins.com. Oh, and a word to the wise, guys, bring your love to this event or get used to taking cold showers.
Join Rebecca's Forecast Tuesday at 10 a.m. She'll take your calls, questions, and fill you in on what's happening for your personal sun sign. Join Rebecca's Forecast once again every Tuesday at 10 a.m. right here on 1490 WBCB.
Hi, this is Sarah Floyd, Director of Care Advocacy, and we're Bucks County Elder Law, a life care planning law firm. It's not easy talking to loved ones or friends about long-term care. However, the reality is things happen, and people are naturally lousy planners who tend to be overly optimistic. It's no fun reminding people that they may need long-term care. One way to get people to take action is to discuss the benefits of planning versus the consequences of not planning. At Bucks County Elder Law, we empower you to make the best legal, care, and planning decisions for you and your family. We invite you to call us today at 215-493-0727 to schedule a free initial consultation and to join us each Tuesday at 9 a.m. for Senior Legal Strategies right here on WBCB. And visit our website at www.buckscountyelderlaw.com.
Everything you wanted to know about funerals and planning but did not know who to ask. Tune in on Mondays at 9 a.m. to the Galzerano Funeral Home. More than just a funeral home, Louis A. Galzerano III has been serving Bucks County for over 100 years. Family owned and operated by Louis and his wife Carol. Galzerano Funeral Home serves all faiths and nationalities. A full-service funeral home with a full line of cremation options and a crematory on the premises. 2 locations to serve you and your family, one in Bristol and one in Levittown. Call 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484. Special rates to show our thanks to all servicemen and women as well as the FOP. Galzerano Funeral Home, 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484.
Peanut, butter, candy, cake. Is it even legal to say 4 words that delicious? Yes, it is. And only Tasty Cake peanut butter candy cakes bring them all together. Delicious baked sponge cake coated in creamy peanut butter, then bathed in indulgent milk chocolate. There's nothing else like it. So pick up candy cakes and other Tasty Cake treats at a store near you today. For your family, for yourself, just for the fun of it. Join the conversation when you follow Tasty Cake on Facebook and Instagram.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, April 13th. On this date in 1997, ECW held its barely legal pay-per-view. In the main event, Terry Funk pinned Raven to win the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 1998, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. In the main event, Kevin Nash defeated Sting by disqualification. On this date in 2008, TNA held its Lockdown pay-per-view. In the main event, Samoa Joe pinned Kurt Angle in a 6 sides of steel match to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2015, WWE Monday Night Raw was taped in London, England. In the main event, Dolph Ziggler pinned Neville. This has been Today in Wrestling History, April 13th. Welcome
back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you live at Council Rock South High School, 2002 Rockway in Holland, Pennsylvania for the Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo. And here alongside Mitch, Twitch is keeping his germs away from the kids. He's a little under the weather and has been all week. But we are joined by, full of glory and renown, the philosopher Chris Ermer. Oh, come on. You didn't think I was going to at least get you into the mix here?
Oh, my gosh. I'm not feeling glory.
You're not feeling glory
right now. I'm not feeling it.
Oh,
but
goodness.
You know what? That's actually kind of tough. As soon as you walk into this place,
yeah, it just uplifts the spirits, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets you going.
Absolutely.
Little Jack Johnson on the PA.
Oh yeah. How can you not feel?
Kids are dancing, throwing scarves in the air.
Yeah, it's a great time. All part of the Yo-Yo Play Day. It's going on. That's now until 1:15. So that's it's the various activities here.
Beach balls are coming over.
We've got beach balls coming out. I thought that was just for bored crowds at the Raw after WrestleMania. No. No security's confiscating beach balls here, though. That's
that's one thing for sure.
Yes, that is one thing for sure. But no, it is a fantastic time here at Senator Tomlinson's Children's Expo. We're here for the next 20-ish minutes, but the event's going on until 2 o'clock, and you'll want to definitely make your way on down to here. Meanwhile, we've got a few things to get into as far as the fallout, and these are some other not quite as good things in that they are, as you can see with any particular sports thing, injuries.
Yikes.
But first, we've got a little gentleman here who is checking out the table. This is a live wrestling radio show. You like WWE at all? Pro wrestling? Followed a bit? Okay. What? All
right, hold on. We
got to get him on
We're
here.
We're going to get you hooked up, young
man. Get him hooked up. Okay. Going to give you the headphones, get you the microphone. You're going to be live on the radio right now here. First off, what's your name?
Luke.
Luke? Oh, almost like our co-host who isn't here, Lucas. Okay, yeah, all right. You had to call him out on it. All right, yeah, he's got the Jolly Rancher going on. All right, but as long as it's not impeding his talking or, more importantly, breathing, that's very important as well. All right, so who's your favorite wrestler in WWE? Well, it could be anything other than WWE as well. What do you like?
I like Neshaminy wrestling.
Oh, this is okay. Yeah, got to start with the Scholastic to get up to the pros, but this is more like WWE, like John Cena, Roman Reigns. You follow any of that at all?
I kind of like John Cena.
Kind of like John Cena.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Oh yeah, he's popular with the kids. I think wasn't he recently on the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards?
I think so.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah, he sure was.
Okay, we got the big kid here who knows better than the little kid.
I heard it from a YouTube ad. Okay.
That's his defense, sure.
But it's the truth.
I believe you.
Yeah, see, he believes me. He gets it.
Luke's taking over here. No, that's certainly a lot of fun. So, what do you think so far of the Kids Expo?
I really like it. I'm here with my cousin right now, so we're just exploring the place right now.
Gotcha. And I guess the shiny belts and things here is what kind of glommed you over to this direction?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ooh Shiny, the replica championship belts from back in the day, as well as the Slammy Award.
Wow.
That's here, yes. That's kind of their...
that's heavy.
Yeah, it's it's extremely heavy.
Quite hefty.
Yeah, the belts are no slouch either. They're pretty hefty as well. There he goes. He's holding the replica old WWF championship belt from back in the day. Worn by the likes of Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, just to name a few. Names that you're all like, who? For the most part, yeah, I know. It's more about the current things, the current wrestlers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, Luke, thank you so much for joining us here on Pro Wrestling Weekly here on WBCB. Yeah, he's live on the radio. Yeah, we've got a surprised parent, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, it could have been the mom of the cousin. I don't know. I'm trying to clarify for the audience here. All right, well, Luke, thank you so much for joining us. It's a great time here at the Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo here on WBCB, and we are keeping things going and then some here. As we were leading into before being joined by Luke here, well, some injuries that came out of WrestleMania. Well, Ronda Rousey
Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, you'd picked her to win the winner-take-all match here, but I think part of the reason why she may not have won it was that during that main event, she suffered a broken right hand.
Whoa.
And still continued to wrestle.
Okay.
Yeah, take that, people who say it's fake. The philosopher chuckling over there.
Ronda Rousey. I guess that's why I started to chuckle.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, she's been in WWE for a little bit after leaving the Octagon, the UFC.
She injured from extreme phoniness.
No. My back from having trained in wrestling the last couple of years it can definitely say there's nothing fake about it.
Well, no, not that anything's fake about the bumps and all the contact that you take in the ring, but just that her WWE persona to me is phony. She, as a WWE wrestler, to me is like a gimmick.
Well,
that's the way I see it, as somebody who, really, as an MMA fan, kind of, as a Ronda Rousey fan for a little bit, and she kind of brought some of that attitude. But I don't know. I feel like she. I guess it's like Brock Lesnar. I guess you see a lot of that crossover stuff, but to me, when you're going from MMA to WWE,
one or the other, but not necessarily both. That sort of thing.
You can't cross that line. I don't think.
Well, I mean, some can.
Because although you say the bumps are real, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the results are not necessarily not predetermined.
Well, I don't think anybody's questioning that part of it. I think everybody knows. I mean, at one time, yes, it was presented as legitimate combat, even though it was staged combat. It's like medieval times or something like that, just without the armor or the horses.
And so somebody who, Ronda Rousey, she was at the Summit in a truly competitive arena, and then she's getting into a sports entertainment arena, and to me,
you have to suspend the credibility a little bit because you figure that having come from that environment, she would wipe the floor with anybody and everybody.
I guess I don't know, or just you have to. I don't know. It's taken the Ronda Rousey fan in a totally different direction, and I just think that's the phony part I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything that happens as far as any
inside
of
the ropes or anything like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But just you're going from true competition to sports
having
entertainment.
To be a character or a persona.
Yeah. And it all becomes a put on and stuff. And before, her persona was really how she got hyped up for a fight. And instead of getting your arm broken, you end up breaking the other person's arm.
Yeah, there's a little bit that has to be taken away from that. I mean, the only person who I think really, there were maybe two that I can think that did that crossover and kind of kept their own character and persona, and this is going back to the late 90s, were Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn. They stayed very true to themselves, but then again, UFC was still a very new thing back then.
But I think that crossover was from the sports entertainment into the true competition zone. As opposed to, I thought Ken Shamrock was an established
he was an established MMA UFC
guy.
fighter first. Yeah, he was one of they were two of the foundations of the early parts of UFC when it started back in the mid to late 90s.
So, yeah, you're right. That's kind of that. There is a precedent that's there. Brock Lesnar, another guy who crossed that line, maybe not as successfully, but...
Well, Lesnar, he's just pretty much jumped back and forth on that line. He was established as a pro wrestler first, then got tired of wrestling, tried his hand at pro football, was on the Minnesota Vikings practice squad for a cup of coffee, then went over to MMA, had a fair amount of success there, then had a bout of diverticulitis, and then he ended up coming back from that and decided, all right, I'm going to kind of work on my terms, negotiated a very lucrative part-time WWE contract, and occasionally will fight, and he's been kind of going back and forth.
Well, and also, this is bringing up, an old topic that I think has been, rehashed now within the wrestling world, and I don't mean to send your show off on a tangent.
No worries. Please, as long as you've been with this station and you've heard our show, it's nothing but tangents since I took over 10 years ago.
Hey, how are you?
Hey there.
This is great. We got some folks checking out the table. Slammy. Oh, feel how heavy this Slammy award is. Here, hold this part.
Make sure
There you go. Yeah, it's heavy.
We've got the Slammy Award, the replica title belts here from back in the day.
Right. That's legit. Yeah. You ready to do some pro wrestling? What's your signature move? That's what you have to come up with.
Yeah.
Well, they'll have time to develop that.
The attack. Just the straight up attack.
The straight up attack. Just. Oh, no problem. Thank you. Fun times had by all here. Yep, every Saturday from noon to 1. It's been on the air for just over 20 years now. It's on radio, or you can listen online worldwide at WBCB1490.com. So if you're not from this area, you can't necessarily get WBCB in, you can hear it anywhere in the world, just going to the internet. Yeah, no problem. Even, kids of all ages enjoying it here.
But Ronda Rousey really was injured.
Yeah, she was. She legitimately did suffer a broken hand, and it
not
was
just anything with her phoniness or anything.
No,
like that.
No. This was a legitimate broken hand, and according to the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, the injury stemmed from a punch that she threw.
That's some Bush League stuff.
Well, in the ring, injuries can happen. And they generally are unplanned. And similarly, in other injury news, WWE confirmed that Big E of the New Day, he is out with a torn meniscus. That's more of a, I was gonna say that's it's like I know that injury. That's that can happen to any athlete. All those different ligaments and tendons in the knee and whatnot. So Big E initially had tweeted, "Making mincemeat of my meniscus, crossbody cooked the cartilage. Bye for a bit." That was his way of kind of putting it out there. And then a couple hours later, WWE issued an injury update stating that Big E suffered a torn meniscus and is currently not medically cleared for action, to which Big E replied on Twitter, "Depends on what kind of action."
Hey-o.
Hey. Oh. Great sense of humor there, Big E.
I like his first post, too. Kind of he's like a poet. That was like alliterative.
Yeah. And as if that wasn't enough, Nia Jax, the women's competitor, she announced yesterday she'll be taking time away from WWE to undergo double knee surgery.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No, it isn't. She said on her social media pages, "Some of you may or may not know, but I will be out of action for a little while. Unfortunately, I've been pushing through some pain over the last year due to injuries in my knees, and I will be undergoing surgery to repair both of my ACLs. I'm grateful to everyone who has supported me. Thank you."
I mean, what do you think? Do you think they do them at the same time, or do they schedule them out so they do them like back to back?
I think they schedule one, kind of get it closer to the healing thing, and then do the other, because otherwise you're completely incapacitated, because you need something to be able to support your weight standing on it. So if your both knees are surgically repaired, how can you do any kind of progress to get better?
I don't know. I like to get them both done at the same time. That's like efficient. Wham, bam, put me in a wheelchair. I'm up and ready to go in 6 weeks.
Well, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV or radio for that matter. So
I just suggest wild things here on the show.
Yes. Certainly a wild man in your own right. That is for sure. Oh, goodness. Now, meanwhile, Brian James, known to many as the Road Dogg Jesse James from when he wrestled in the WWF back in the day, he resigned as the co-lead writer of SmackDown on Wednesday, according to Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer. Meanwhile, there was another report that James resigned due to ongoing frustration with Vince McMahon making scripting changes. Because, I mean, they're the writers for the storylines, and then it all goes through Vince McMahon, and he has the final say. And apparently he's been making a lot of on-the-fly changes that, too many last-minute changes apparently is a bit of an issue. And additionally, McMahon reportedly fired creative team member Robert Evans, according to Meltzer. McMahon was upset that his name was mentioned during a Hall of Fame speech that Evans produced. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things when it comes to Vince McMahon.
I heard you talking last week just about how he really is careful with the language that he uses, and you can't say belt, you can't. You
have to say championship. Yeah, there's a lot of different things with that. There's just certain eccentricities when it comes to Vince McMahon. And to take the line from Dennis Hopper in Speed, poor people are crazy, he's eccentric.
There's a man with a snake here, by the way, just talking about eccentricities.
And it's not Jake the Snake Roberts, yeah. No, that's yep. We're gonna keep him not too close to here. That's
when I think of the eccentric type, sometimes they have snakes around their neck.
Yes,
there's a guy right over there.
Yep.
Amazing how these things work. It's definitely not Damien, that's for sure. Now, we had mentioned UFC. UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier had a little fun with Brock Lesnar losing the Universal Championship to Seth Rollins this past Sunday at WrestleMania, simply tweeting, "Ha, Brock got beat up."
To the point.
Yeah. Now, in related news, there's also a report from agfight.com that UFC is targeting a Cormier versus Lesnar fight for UFC 241 coming up on August 17th of this year. So maybe that's a little kind of lead into it, a little
start
setup.
the hype. Let's start the hype machine.
Exactly.
Crank it up.
However, the fight has not been confirmed by UFC. In fact, UFC President Dana White gave the opposite stance in a press conference yesterday when asked about it, saying, quote, "That fight isn't even in the works." And he added, "We haven't even talked to Brock. Nothing happened. That's what we wanted to do, but Brock and I haven't even talked. When Brock Lesnar is ready, he'll call me." Because that's pretty much how Brock works these days, is he just does his own thing. He does what he wants when he wants. I'm not going to tell him otherwise. Are you?
Right now. If a Brock Lesnar sits on your fence, what time is it? It's just time to get a new fence.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, with WrestleMania 35 in the books and people already thinking travel plans to Tampa for WrestleMania 36, speculation is already beginning on where WrestleMania 37 will be in 2021. It's starting to get like the Super Bowl or the Olympics, where you have to almost plan multiple years in advance. The apparent frontrunner is the Los Angeles, California area, with the new Los Angeles Stadium currently under construction. That Inglewood Stadium set to open in the summer of next year and will be the home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers of the NFL. So that'll be another where they're going to try to get 70, 80,000, however many they're looking to seat for a WrestleMania. That's pretty much how they do anymore. They've gone to the days where they can do WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden. Even though it's a hallowed historical hall for them, it only seats, 18,000 people?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey
there. Other folks here at the Children's Expo. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Fearon. Some belts and some slammies.
Title belts. Yeah, it's like WWE. You follow any of that at all? Sometimes, a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes.
A little John Cena here, a little Roman Reigns there, that sort of thing. I got you. Alrighty, and one other tidbit of news here: All Elite Wrestling, as well as Turner Broadcasting, they're reportedly in advanced talks regarding a weekly television series.
They are?
Yeah, I mean, now Turner was known for holding WCW back in the day. It was usually TNT that would have Monday Nitro that ran directly opposite Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So you had to flip back and forth between the channels to watch both almost at the same time. Now, the Wrap website reports that the deal is definitely not signed, but adds that TNT would be the likely television home along with a streaming component. So they're trying to do a little bit of the electronics as well here. So we've got a couple of minutes left here, so I believe, Mitch, that it's time for
birthdays.
And no Twitch to interrupt you. 3 plus 3 Brucey bonuses. So on this date in 1967, Robert Lawrence Horn was born. The former WWF Tag Team Champion and current trainer down in Texas. I worked under him when he came up to the Monster Factory for a camp. Better known as Mo from the tag team Men on a Mission. He turns 52 today. On this date in 1970, Montague N. Brown was born, the former TNA and WWE competitor known as the Alpha Male Monty Brown and Marcus Corvon, respectively, turns 49 today. And also born on this date in 1970, Richard Bartlett Schroeder Jr. was born. That name might sound familiar. The actor who was the guest timekeeper in the main event at WrestleMania 2, known at the time as Ricky Schroeder, star of the sitcom Silver Spoons, he turns 49 today.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Right in the feels with the age there. And now to the Brucey bonuses, 3 things outside of the world of wrestling. On this date in 1942, William Conti was born. The music composer known for his film scores, specifically the Rocky movies and the Karate Kid movies, that whole thing.
That guy.
Yeah, better known as Bill Conti. He turns 77 today. On this date in 1946, Al Green was born, the R&B artist with hits like Let's Stay Together and I'm Still in Love with You. He turns 73 today. And on this date in 1983, Hunter Pence was born, the Major League outfielder. He used to play for the Phillies, is currently with the Rangers. He turns 36 today. I want to thank you for tuning in here. Enjoy the Senator Tomlinson's Children's Expo. We'll be back in studio next week to talk more wrestling and stuff. Ted Efaw is up next with the Country Roads show, we've got Trenton Thunder Baseball. That's right, he'll have it right afterward.